Hey guys, hey everybody, we're here with Dr. Chris Zaino and Dr. Nathan Bryan here in Woodlands, Texas, and I'm down here visiting Dr. Nathan at his ranch, and we're spending some time, and I said I want to reach out to another colleague. Him and I have talked a few times, never met in person. I thought, what a great opportunity to come down here and put three minds together, have a conversation, share some tools and resources that we have to help each other in our lanes, our separate lanes, and what we have going on. Chris and I have a little similar background with chiropractic foundation, and shifting into regenerative therapy. Then Dr. Nathan comes along with his regenerative products to help assist with those things. And so why not share those resources with one another? And so we thought we'd make some content here and be able to share that with you guys and provide another resource for you as well. So this is Dr. Chris Zaino, this is Dr. Nathan Bryan. I'll let Chris talk first, kind of what lane he's been doing and how he's shifted from chiropractic into regenerative therapy and what he has on the forefront.
All right, so being in chiropractic for 19 years, we did stem cells. We actually had stem cells in the office, regenerative medicine there, did in Cancun and Dubai. So I saw the great effects of this type of technology had. So I had a heart for that after being tested to it. So, and now like my specialty, I just have my lane is just male optimization. 35 to 65 male optimization. Regenerative medicine, just rebuilding them back to where they could be. Because I think a lot of guys, they tend to feel that they peaked in any way, shape, or form, right? It could be mentally, spiritually, socially, physically, sexually. So just that they don't have to live with that anymore. There's actually technology now, wonderful technology. They actually get them back to where they were, if not even better.
Correct.
And I believe like that's what I feel excited about. When you're excited about something, that's what I want to be able to deliver.
Well, it's kind of the same thing. When we are in the lanes we're in with chiropractic, we get excited about something we want to share with everybody you know.
Sure.
Right? And then it just makes perfect sense. It's a natural fit. And because we're in that age, we're living that life right now. So if it's benefit for us, why would we not share that? And then obviously, get compensated for what we're doing and helping those people because they need that leadership, they need the support and those resources. And that's where you come into the equation of the resources you have with your products. So speak a little bit about the products that you have and how that benefits and helps optimize those other features like Chris was talking about. From performance, for male performance, but just functionality every day. People are taking these supplements that they believe to be helping enhance their cell physiology, helping their body function at a higher level. But unfortunately, they're using products that don't have a great delivery system or not getting the effects that they think they're getting from them.
Yeah, no, that's their greatest challenge is trying to figure out how do we optimize human performance and how do we integrate these different treatment modalities, whether it's musculoskeletal manipulation, whether it's stem cells or regenerative medicine. But really what we focused on is nitric oxide because that's foundational. There's a vascular component to every disease, right? Whether it's erectile dysfunction, optimization, cognition, athletic performance. If you don't have adequate blood flow to deliver oxygen and nutrients and to mitigate the inflammation that you see, then nothing's going to work. So what we find, and really the remarkable thing about nitric oxide is it controls blood flow, oxygen delivery, it improves glucose uptake and insulin signaling, it mobilizes our own stem cells so we can repair and replace dysfunctional tissue. So really aging is just a matter of inability to repair and replace tissue. So we don't lose stem cells the older we get, we lose the ability to mobilize our stem cells.
Yep.
And that's what nitric oxide does. So the older we get, the less nitric oxide we make, and I think foundationally that's what leads to the onset and progression of chronic disease.
One thing you mentioned, and it's so common, people don't associate, is inflammation is the cause of any sort of disease process. I don't care what type, what pathology, what lane you want to put it in. If there's cellular inflammation, it throws havoc throughout the whole body. I don't care if it's trying to repair a joint or it's trying to repair your gut. And so if we don't have the right delivery system to mitigate that and to be able to basically get over that cell membrane dysfunction, if you will, then all the stuff we take is not going to be as effective as it could be. Is that right?
No, I think you're spot on. So, nitric oxide is foundational for everything, right? But it's not a silver bullet.
There we go.
It's not an end-all be-all cure-all. If you've got some musculoskeletal issue and nerve impingement, nitric oxide is on. But here's what's going to happen. When we fix that or remediate that, then now we can have adequate blood flow, adding the nitric oxide to it, mobilize stem cells, get better mitochondrial function. So when we talk about human performance, it's mitochondrial function, right? ATP, energy production. It's adequate delivery of oxygen and nutrients. And it's mobilization of stem cells so we can repair and replace dysfunctional tissues. Without nitric oxide, none of that happens. And really that's kind of the foundation for what we do. So if you start with nitric oxide, improve circulation, mitigate the inflammation, reduce the oxidative stress and immune dysfunction, now your body's primed to whatever other modality we implement and improve in patients, it's going to work better. You're going to get better clinical outcomes.
Something Chris was suggesting about male performance or sexual health, we'll call it. You were talking a little bit about that. Talk about the Cialis, the Viagras, that type of stuff. How would that apply with this product versus those type of products?
Yeah, so those drugs are called phosphodiesterase inhibitors. They prevent an enzyme, they inhibit an enzyme, phosphodiesterase, that leads to the breakdown of a second messenger called cyclic GMP. But it's nitric oxide produced in the cell that leads to an accumulation of cyclic GMP. So, these drugs have been on the market now for 25, 26 years,
Okay.
and 50% of the men don't respond with better erections with these drugs. So why is that? It's because their body's not making enough nitric oxide to activate that second messenger system for these drugs to work.
I see.
So whether you have non-responders to PD5 inhibition therapy, or you can improve their nitric oxide, now you can make them responsive, and I think more importantly, you can titrate down the dose of these drugs, making them not only more effective, but safer in mitigating the side effects. So without nitric oxide, the PD5 inhibitors don't work. So what we like to do is prime the pump.
There we go.
Literally and metaphorically.
Sure.
And so now these, not only their erections get better, blood flow increases, engorgement improves, but the people who are taking, once daily Cialis are going to get better effects from it.
Okay. So on the musculoskeletal side, I've personally experienced when I'm doing the shockwave treatments, if I can increase the circulation with that, I can help mobilize more stem cells. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to activate the stem cells with the shockwave therapy, as opposed to the other graduated procedures like the PRP, exosome, their stem cells with just different tiers. But I would have to agree with what you're saying on that side of things as well. If I can increase that river of life, we'll call it, now I'm going to get those better outcomes. Yes,
Yeah.
sir? Okay.
Absolutely. So I think we have to give the body what it needs, the body heals itself,
Yeah.
right? So remove from the body what the body doesn't need, give the body the nutrients it needs, and the body heals itself. That's the basis for regenerative medicine.
And that's kind of the philosophy we had going into chiropractic. And in your story too, like when you start with the GI, you started that kind of how your story started, right? Making sure things are able to function and flow. But I think it just comes back into that whole process of making sure things flow. What are your thoughts or
No, yeah, the body doesn't need just any help, just no interference.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't have the right substrates to do what it needs to do, like you said, it just doesn't matter what other things you do. On top of that, it's just not going to put out the performance that it's supposed to, or at least your desire and expect it to.
So it was interesting yesterday, we had that conversation about how would we compare this or an analogy for the layperson to explain to them how this product is working, and share with them what you shared with me our group yesterday about this.
Well, my frustrations, I've been in the academic medicine for 25 years, and my daily frustrations deal with all these other companies and products that are marketing nitric oxide products that aren't nitric oxide products.
Okay.
So how do we differentiate what we do than all the other products out there? And in 2007, we were the first group to publish that nitric oxide is a hormone. Right? It's a signaling molecule produced, has paracrine and endocrine effects systemically. So how do we replace hormones?
That's right.
So if you're a male on hormone replacement therapy, what do? We give them testosterone.
Yeah.
We don't give you precursors and hope your body makes testosterone from them. That's the basis for the
Yeah.
deficiencies. Same thing in women. If you're estrogen deficient postmenopausal, we give you estrogen, the actual compound.
That's right.
And so that's what we do with these products. So these products actually produce nitric oxide, not precursors. Put this lozenge in your mouth, it generates about 20 to 30 parts per million of gas. Nitric oxide is a hormone, it's a gas, and we have to replace what's missing through the delivery of the actual gas. That's what these products do, that's what our products do, that no other product on the market does. So really that's the difference. And if your body can't make nitric oxide, these products do it for you. But more importantly, this fixes the reason your body can't make it. We restore the oral flora on the dorsal part of the tongue, we recouple the enzyme in the lining of the blood vessels, and now your body's primed to produce nitric oxide.
It's similar to what we were having a conversation about before, is providing these men the opportunity to optimize. So give them everything that you have available to you now, what you have, and here's the delivery. So because they need the activation, they need this right now. Because these high-level executives that you and I speak of, right now, let's go. They don't have the time to hope that something is going to work and then allow those other things to be even more effective, right? So if we have different things that are going to impact that, it's going to affect our outcomes for those individuals, and then we are really reliable for that. And I don't liable for that. I just don't like that whole idea.
Yeah. No, look, when we talk about performance, it's subjective to each of us, right? We all have our individual goals, but you can't perform in the bedroom, in the boardroom, or on the athletic field without adequate circulation and nitric oxide and oxygen nutrient being able to deliver substrate to the individual cells so they can work and do their job. And that's what nitric oxide does.
And then tell us what the other product is of that pump product, because Christopher has Dr. Zaino here has some aesthetic stuff here too with red light therapy. So how would that come into play for PIN, for example?
This is, so once we figured out how to make nitric oxide, the question was, how can we implement it to different segments of the market? And I had a personal story with this. My dad, who's a paraplegic for the past 40 years in a wheelchair, developed some non-healing ulcers. And so we were able to heal these non-healing ulcers, decubitus ulcers, by applying nitric oxide. When all the wound care docs that I took him to said we could never heal that wound. So when we healed the wound, I thought, well, this is so powerful, we can introduce this into the aesthetics market. Because the skin is an organ.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the sex organs, it's like the heart and the brain.
That's
So
right.
if there's compromised blood flow to that organ, it fails. So you lose hydration, you lose collagen, fine lines and wrinkles appear, you get age spots, you get eczema, acne. So if we can just restore blood flow by providing nitric oxide, we mobilize stem cells, we improve collagen deposition, we improve the tone, texture, clarity of the skin, and it's a beautiful anti-aging product. And you can actually, the beauty about this is you can actually see this product working.
Yeah.
So it's dual chamber. Again, nitric oxide is a gas. You can't deliver gas in a capsule, a chew, or a gummy. We have to do it for you. So we have to separate these two components. So if we take one pump from one side, one pump from the other, and then it's when you combine these two ingredients that it produces nitric oxide gas. So I'm just, for demo, I'm just going to show you here because you can see three things. You'll see a bubble, that's the nitric oxide gas being produced. You'll see these veins dilate, so we can open up the blood supply. And then it'll turn pink wherever we apply it. So it's recruiting capillaries, and now we're causing what's called a hyperemic response. We're forcing blood flow to this area. And the consequence of that is mobilization of stem cells, collagen deposition, and tightening of skin. So fine lines and wrinkles go away. So this is a new category in skincare.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, most skincare products are designed to mask or hide the fine lines and wrinkles, the blemishes, age spots. This gets to the root cause. So whether you're using this as kind of a non-surgical aesthetics or facelift alone, it's a great product. 5-6 published clinical trials on this, or post-procedure.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's microdermabrasion, microneedling, any type of facial procedure, you add this on afterward. Now you're going to facilitate the healing process, get collagen deposition, and really make everything we do in aesthetics work better.
What I like about it is, as we were saying before, it's really objectively a cool thing for people to see, right? Because seeing is believing oftentimes. So even with our chiropractic background, they want to see that X-ray, right? So we kind of use an analogy. It's kind of like, seeing it objectively, it's a measurable thing that way, right? And then, using a logic, because he has a regimen that he runs. So if you add something there, he's going to know if that's effective or not. And that's the beautiful thing about when we have different products like that, we can track that, we can then speak to it confidently, and it's very apparent, obviously, what's happening with that. As opposed
Can't make that up.
Yeah, right.
It's a physiological response.
Well, you can see the vascularity comes through, but like with him, we don't need anymore. He's got already plenty of things.
I want to be optimized.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
So what does this lead into next for you, Chris?
in which way?
Just your lane, So we've graduated through these different things, you've accomplished all these different things. You and I went that lane, we got over the regenerative lane, getting into stem cells, and something was intriguing for us, but it was beneficial. Like I had my injury, I get the stem cells, so then I was like a believer, right? Because I had the experience, like you said. I had the experience, so now it's like hard not to share that and finding ways to offer that to people, and in such a way that we're teamed up with the right people, as opposed to people that are bastardizing it, or some people are doing some stuff that's really gonna cause some issues with it, and that's what's really blocked it from getting exposure to mainstream. That's at least my own personal experience with it when I started years ago with the company that I was helping rep for. And now we're seeing that now the door is open, now you cannot deny it, it's only going to continue to grow, right? So kind of that lane you went down, where's that next shift for you? Where are you headed?
Well, I think it's educating and bringing awareness, number one. I will do it through a telemedicine platform, so you have more brand exposure, and anybody could go anywhere. Because sometimes I find that we've seen this in a wellness model. You could have 7 wellness clinics, and you go in, and it's like you just don't know what you're gonna get. It's like you got dream catchers on the wall in one. You got all types of stuff going on. You just don't know. So when someone says, because it's a potpourri of stuff. Versus, I would like to see Regenerative get standardized like this. Like I love that. It's a hormone. It does this. It's like the root of stuff.
Right on.
And that's where the awareness comes from. When what I want to feel is like, I think for looking at men, if we want to optimize a male, depending on what they have, there's multiple factors to get there. It's just not hormones or peptides. We got nitric oxide. We have all these other factors that you bring it all into the picture, and that's just kind of where we're going to go. Versus just being a brick and mortar. Yes, we'll have some procedures where they would have to come in, but mostly online. It's an easy delivery system. You can bring it anywhere. It's portable. It's efficient, and it's doable. And what I like about things, it's ongoing. You know, subscription-based, ongoing routine. Like that's what success is.
But like you were showing, you're demonstrating now and watching your videos, that consistency.
Yeah.
Every day, you know, you're day 40 something on this journey, and being that accountability, but having that consistency, showing that's how you get results with anything in life. And you taking that over into your, you know, showcasing that in your personal life, this journey that you're on with that too.
And it's not just the consistency part, but to show you in a relatively short period of time, because there's a lot of people that are sick and suffering for years, and because they never stuck to something and gave it a chance. If you're watching this, what someone doesn't realize, I tell you, you're just right around the corner of the right protocol and the right delivery system to have everything change. It's like, what's 40 days? Like, what's 30? I mean, it's like compared to some people, like I said, 20, 30 years, something like, what's 40 days?
Yeah.
And to make it easy, it's not like we're having them grind stuff out. Like so it's just all done. You can't make it any easier, but it's just having that accountability to do it. But yeah, I mean, like, it's amazing what can be done in such a short period of time when you have a regime and a protocol that is strategic, has intention, and when it makes sense to the person, they'll do it to be able to get it done. Because we've done some things, you know, in bodybuilding and stuff like this, there's a lot of prep, there was a lot of work. Like, I had to want the end goal really bad, when the majority would be like, nah, I'll skip that. But this is something where today, with technology today, it's easier than ever to be able to get healthy, well, and stay vibrant and have vitality into your 60s, 70s, and 80s now.
So there's this phrase says, live long enough so you can live longer. And that's as technology is evolving, more things are coming out to keep us alive for a longer period of time. But keeping is vital, and keeping it, you know, to the point where you're actually living while you're alive, as opposed to being on these medications that are keeping people breathing, but they're not really alive, right?
Yeah.
They're walking dead people.
For sure. So, you know, I want to be living. I don't want to just be alive.
That word vibrant that he used, that's the best word.
That's autonomy, that's freedom.
Yeah.
That's what we all want. You know, I've seen people stuck in this meat suit of a body of theirs and they're suffering. And it's a prison, you know, but like my mom, she's 86, vibrant, autonomous, free, she went to just Aruba the other day. It was like, at 86, I'm like, I can't wait to get to 86, you know? If it's done that correctly, but 86 starts at 47. If I would say, like, it has to start now. You want to respond to aging, you don't want to react to it.
Yeah.
So it's very important.
I like it. That's a good.
No, I think it's proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, medicine's a reactive practice, but yeah, I think we're all living examples of this. We're a product of our product, right? And we share the same vision and mission of not only living longer, but living better, longer. But it's, you know, it's hard work. It takes discipline, it takes accountability, and that's really the difference. And you know, it's hard work staying healthy, but it's harder work getting healthy if you're sick.
Yeah.
So if we're going to have to work hard, then I would rather work hard on preventing disease and living rather than reacting to my environment and being reactive to disease.
So the whole easy, hard, easy. Like, you know, I don't even know if I want to call it hard, because if you really want to break down all the components in their individual thing, I said, like to take a step on a treadmill, it's easy. It's not hard. To take a food in your mouth, it's not. So none of this is hard. It's easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. And two, if you do see it as hard, it's like, if you do the little disciplines you need to do today, life gets easier. But if you take the easy route now and get distracted or go for the gratification, or actually what it is it's a distractive dopamine rush people are looking for, because they're all stressed, they're depressed, so they're looking for this like relief, whether it be vices or food. And it's easy and gratifying in the moment, but it leads to such a hard life later on.
And it's stacking, because it's going to compound.
Yeah.
And then we have to face it eventually. Like we were saying before, there's so many of those things that we look into. Now we're in that phase of our life. We can look back. We have some references or experiences we can look back to, and then like we were talking earlier, it's like looking at those things, saying, okay, that served me at the time, but it's not going to continue to serve me if I keep following that path. What's going to happen? So I have to take subconscious accountability right now on what I want the rest of life to be like. And there's so many people I think that are so relying upon the old model of thinking, and that it is suffering. Not just their aches and pains where we started with musculoskeletal, but now we're seeing other stuff on top because of stress from the COVID and all those things that are now compounding those other effects. And now the other stuff's coming to the surface even more. And now we're seeing people even further in a mental state where now there's so much deprivation, if you will. And we're seeing this crazy stuff. At least that's what I've been experiencing. We're trying to have a rational conversation with them. What planet are you on? what the hell's going on between those ears? So it's unfortunately it's sad. So that's what we're here to have this conversation to, share the resources and hopefully whatever or whoever's watching maybe give some inspiration or maybe reaching out and saying, hey, you know what, I really like what you had to say. I'd like to get more information or connect somebody together. I mean, that's the way I think everything works out, is just reaching out to people that want to do the same thing and help as many people as possible. In a lane, taking our own personal experiences, I think they say, take your message and make it your message, right? Because you had a reason why you created this product, you have a reason why you're doing what you're doing. Me, the same thing. And oftentimes you're a little bit scared. And you encouraged me the one day I was talking about putting together some content, like, who cares? Like, just do it, Just someone's gonna hear it, it's gonna change their life.
And when I think when it comes to any type of education, like if you're watching this and you hear something and it resonates here and it makes sense, that's a good sign. It's a lot of people, there's so much information out there. I think people fail to trust themselves and their gut, their intuition. So if you're watching this and it makes sense, then you go along that route, and that's why, it's a very easy thing to do, but we're just so distracted. There's so much information. And then there are a lot of people, and we won't name them, but it's very easy to be paid to be in the public eye, and they will say stuff that scientifically has no sense whatsoever, but because they're paid and they're on stage, they become an expert, but they have to package their spiel in a certain way to be unique and different, but at the same time causing people to make errors in judgment.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Or they're wearing the costume, like you and I talked earlier. That's why I took a liking to this guy, because he's a brilliant man, very smart. But most of the guys that are in his lane, it's kind of dudes I don't want to hang out with. You guys are Poindexters. I mean, they're very rigid. They're wearing a shirt and tie, and it's not something I can hang out with. Like that person is hiding behind an image they think they have to portray, or identity that they think they have to portray, so they'll get some recognition from their colleagues or get some respect from their colleagues. Where it's like, hey man, this is me, and he got a toothpick in his mouth and just doing his deal, And I mean, you do the same thing, like shut that bullshit. Like, this is who I am. I don't live in that identity that I had before. Maybe I had that before, but that's not me now. And being open and vulnerable, and that's the biggest thing of having that opportunity to say, hey, I'm just a human being who's going through this life, and I'm gonna share some stuff I have going on and being a real person, as opposed to those people going out in the spotlight and being somebody they think they need to be. And I use a phrase like, it's not who you think you are, it's not who they think you are, it's who you think they think you are.
Yeah.
And then we live that life, and it's sad, almost like Wayne Dyer says, like, that unexamined life and getting into your life and saying, what if my life was all wrong? That'd be the worst feeling.
But we have to live with the servant's part, right? We're here to serve others.
That's right.
You get back what you give. So, we're servants, and we have to serve others.
Well, I'm glad I got to sit here with you two dudes to provide this message, to be servants, to give a message and give information like Chris said. And if you like it, hopefully can help you bring you along the path, and we, team with our people and give some information. And then we all get to celebrate and enjoy and have a good time. So thanks for watching. Anything else you guys want to do?
I appreciate it.